Welcome back to Air Law Exam Prep Lesson 4 Part 1, General Operating Restrictions. Just before we get started, a few people have set their exams and been caught short on some of those really quirky questions. So I'm going to make a particular emphasis on some of those quirky ones, and I may even just kick off an additional video just to cover off some of the ways that they ask questions, like the one that I think we spoke in lesson 2, where there was a plane having to go on a trial flight to confirm the work that had been carried out. The engineer who worked on the plane requested to come with you, and the question was phrased in such a way that, yes, even though he was an engineer and was working on the aircraft, he had requested to come with you, not that he had to come with you to verify his work. So, it's those kind of things where you're going to go, he is the engineer, he did work on that. I presume he's coming with you to verify the work, but because he requested, it was more of a, can I come along just for a fly? And those kind of interpreted questions are very, very dangerous. Anyway, let's crack on, and we keep going while we've got the momentum and while you're still awake. So, 4.32 General Operating Instructions. We are requested to be able to state the restrictions on smoking in an aircraft under the Civil Aviation Act 1990, Section 65N. And that states that every person commits an offence who smokes. The government will have you believe that. But in particular with the Civil Aviation Act, it says that under A, when instructed not to smoke by a crew member, passenger information signs, place cards, or while on any aircraft that is carrying passengers for hire or reward, or any internal flight, or that it directly contravenes Section 96A, subsection 6, which, if you are really bored, you have the ability, excuse me, I'm just adjusting my mic, there we go. If you're really bored, you can jump in and have a look. Just Google that, it's a horrifyingly long read. Section 2 says that every person who commits an offence against subsection 1 is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding $2,500. That's an expensive cigarette, but I'm sure the way things are going, that'll be the cost of a cigarette soon. And 3, in subsection 1, to smoke has the meaning set out in section 96A1, and that covers things like vaping and other stuff. So, demystifying that, from 95.1 above, remember that passengers must comply with the instructions given to them by the PIC, and under 91.203, the pilot in command can refuse or disembark anyone who causes danger to the aircraft. Also, from above 91.211, the conditions on which smoking is allowed or not allowed must be part of the safety briefing. Section 96A6 states that no person can smoke while on any aircraft operated by a New Zealand international airline carrying passengers on any route designated as a non-smoking route pursuant to this section. This means international flights. Section 65N states no smoking on internal domestic flights that are operated for hire and reward, and please remember the fine for smoking is up to but not exceeding $2,500. That is a very common exam question. So now we get on to, we've done smoking, so now we do drug abuse and alcohol. So 4.3.4, we are expected to be able to state the restrictions associated with the abuse of drugs and alcohol under CAR 91 and CAR 19. 91.203 sets out the authority of a pilot in command. Each pilot in command of an aircraft shall give any commands necessary for the safety of the aircraft and of persons and property carried on that aircraft, including disembarking or refusing the carriage of 1. Any person who appears to be under the influence of alcohol or any drug, where, in the opinion of the PIC, their carriage is likely to endanger the aircraft or its occupants, and 2. Any person or any part of the cargo which, in the opinion of the PIC, is likely to endanger the aircraft or its occupants. And then under Car 19, it covers the 19.7 intoxicating liquor and drugs. Pay particular attention to this, because I have heard of a question around intoxicated crew members. So, 19.7 says, no crew member while acting in his or her official capacity shall be in a state of intoxication or in a state of health in which his or her capacity so to act would be impaired by reason of his or her having consumed or used any intoxicant, sedative, narcotic or stimulant drug or preparation. Meaning no crew member, pilot or flight attendant, whilst on duty, can be in a state of intoxication or any other state that will affect your ability to carry out your duty. Note this includes sedatives and illegal drugs. The key here is whilst on duty. And the easiest way to be able to remember this is that while they are on duty, they are technically in charge of the health, safety of everyone around it. It's almost being responsible for heavy machinery. So you don't drink or get intoxicated or have an impairment while you're doing that, because you put others' lives at risk. But if you are not on duty, which is one particular question that I've been told about, states that they're carrying some crew members who are not on duty but they're intoxicated, can you refuse flight? Well, of course the answer is yes, you can refuse flight, because as a PIC, if you believe that there is an endangerment to your passengers in any way, shape or form, then you can refuse flight. But not necessarily, or not solely, because a flight attendant was not on duty but appeared intoxicated. So careful of those phrasings. The only reason that you can refuse that flight, refuse the carriage, is if a flight attendant or crew member is on duty and you suspect them of being intoxicated. Keep an eye out for that one. It does exist, and it's a curly one. Right. 4.32.6. We are expected to be able to state the restrictions on the use of portable electronic devices in flight, specifically under Car 91. And 91.7 covers the portable electronic devices, and it states that no person may operate, nor may any operator or pilot in command of an aircraft allow the operation of any cell phone or portable electronic devices that is designed to transmit electromagnetic energy on any aircraft while that aircraft is operated under IFR rules. B. Except as provided in paragraph C, no person may operate, nor may any operator or PIC of an aircraft allow the operation of any portable electronic device on any aircraft flying under IFR during an instrument approach or departure procedures or during any other critical phase of flight. And paragraph C covers the things that it doesn't apply to. And again, pay particular attention to this. Paragraph B does not apply to hearing aids, pacemakers, God, you wouldn't want to turn that off, would you? Portable voice recorders, electronic shavers, electronic watches, or any other portable electronic device if the operator of the aircraft has determined that the portable electronic device to be operated will not cause interference with any aircraft systems or equipment in that aircraft which it is operated. Key term here is under 91.7a, and it really highlights the portable electronic devices that are designed to transmit electromagnetic energy. So anything that does EME is a contradiction in the allowed safe carriage. So, hearing aids, pacemakers, portable voice recorders, electric shavers, electronic watches. But again, electronic watches with Bluetooth, electronic watches with Wi-Fi, which they now come under. Again, they're curly, so be careful. And we continue. D, in the case of 1, an aircraft being operated on air transport operations, the determination required by paragraph C6 must be made by the operator of the aircraft on which the particular device is to be used. So you get the final say. 2, any other aircraft, the determination required by paragraph C6 may be made by the pilot in command or the operator of the aircraft on which the particular device is used. So, cell phones or other devices that transmit electromagnetic energy must not be used while an aircraft is operating under IFR. All portable electronic devices must not be operated when an aircraft flying IFR is carrying out an instrument departure or approach, or during any other critical phase of flight. Note that the devices that it does not apply to, I've already banged on about this, but we'll do it once more: hearing aids, pacemakers, portable voice recorders, electric shavers, electronic watches. Any other device which the operator of an aircraft has determined will not cause interference. So you get the final say, or the operator gets the final say. But again, if they haven't turned it off, we go back to that previous section. They must comply with your instructions, and again, they must be included in the safety briefing. This has to be done on the type of aircraft you wish to use the device on. After the first aircraft has been determined to be okay to use the device on, the pilot in command or the operator may approve that same device on a different aircraft, i.e. Air New Zealand may determine that iPods will not cause the interference on their A320s. Air New Zealand or the pilot in command can then determine that it's okay for an iPod to be used on a 787. Okay. 4.32.8. We are expected to be able to articulate the restrictions on the carriage and discharge of firearms on an aircraft. Very close to the dangerous goods stuff, but again, they have their own quirky bits. Under Car 91, it says 91.9, carriage and discharge of firearms. A, except as provided in paragraphs C and E, no person may carry a firearm in an aircraft, cause a firearm to be carried in an aircraft, permit a firearm to be carried in an aircraft. That's relatively straightforward. Don't carry a firearm in an aircraft. B, except as provided in paragraph D, no person may discharge a firearm while on board an aircraft. Obviously, especially when you're in a pressurized tin. C, a firearm may be carried in an aircraft if 1. The firearm is stowed in a place that is inaccessible to every person during that flight and is disabled. And those are the two main criteria. And there are some exemptions to that. 2. The aircraft is being used solely for the carriage of the person or groups of persons associated with that firearm. So if you are just happen to be dropping off the armed defenders unit, it's not so bad. As long as there's no one else on board. The operator permits the carriage of that firearm. Again, remember, you have the ultimate control there as PIC. The firearm is disabled and the aircraft is carrying... 3. The aircraft is carrying livestock and the operator considers it may be necessary to immobilize livestock for the safety of the aircraft or its occupants. So if you're carrying a dirty great big moose, you have the ability to drop it if it gets out of control. And again, under 91.94, the aircraft is being used for the purpose of shooting or immobilizing animals on the ground if the firearm is not loaded until the aircraft is in the air within which the firearm is intended to be discharged. 2. The aircraft carries only those persons performing an essential function associated with the operation of that aircraft or the shooting or immobilization of animals on the ground. So you can hunt from the likes of a helicopter, but you can't have it loaded when you take off. A firearm may be discharged, 1, in an aircraft carrying livestock if a crew member considers it necessary to immobilise the livestock for the safety of the aircraft or its occupants. 2, for an aircraft for the purpose of shooting or immobilising animals on the ground if the discharge of the firearm does not pose a hazard to or cause injury or damage to persons or property on the ground. And 2, the firearm is not discharged over any congested area of a city, town, settlement, or over any open air assembly of people. E, a firearm may be carried in an aircraft by a person employed by the police, another law enforcement agency or military service if the aircraft is being operated on an air transport or commercial transport operation carrying fare-paying passengers, and the person carrying the firearm, 1, is lawfully entitled to carry a firearm in the course of their duties, so think close protection, Secret Service, that kind of thing. 2, is carrying the firearm in the course of their duties, again Secret Service, close protection. 3, has been approved to carry the firearm on the aircraft by the director under paragraph F. And 4, complies with any conditions or restrictions imposed by the director under paragraph F. Or 2, the aircraft is being operated solely for the carriage of police officers, law enforcement officers, military personnel, and persons under the care of such officers or personnel, and the firearm is unloaded. And 3, the aircraft must be operated for a police, law enforcement, military operation, and only persons performing an essential function associated with police, law enforcement, military, or the operation of the aircraft are carried in the aircraft, so no one else. And this is the F bit. So, upon application from the Commissioner of Police, the head of any law enforcement agency, or the Chief of the Defence Force, the Director may approve a police officer, law enforcement officer, military service personnel to carry a firearm in an aircraft that is being operated on an air transport or commercial transport operation carrying fare-paying passengers, if the Commissioner of Police and the operator concerned consent to the carriage of a firearm in the aircraft. F2 covers the may impose conditions or restrictions as the director considers appropriate, and 3, must advise the applicant, the operator, and the Commissioner of Police of the decision. And G is the coverall, so unless otherwise determined by the director, any application for approval under paragraph F must be made to the director at least 1 working day before the air transport or commercial air transport operation is intended to commence. Nothing like short notice. And H, before the commencement of an air operation where a firearm will be carried in an aircraft by a person under paragraph E1, the operator must inform the pilot in command of the number of persons carrying firearms and the position in the aircraft. Meaning, firearms can be carried on board an aircraft if they are stowed in a place inaccessible to every person during the flight. So